Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Life in Motion. My name is Grace Becker. I'm your host. I'm also a licensed mental health therapist, an enthusiast of life, a cat mom, a girlfriend, a daughter, a sister, a therapist. I am struggling. I am everything under the sun. How is everybody doing today? I hope you all are having a fantastic Thursday so far. Well, as I'm recording this, it is Sunday, so it's not Thursday for me, but I have been feeling very productive today. Very productive, very mindful, and it's been very cutesy, very demure, very mindful. It has been feeling really good, especially on the Sunday, because normally I get the Sunday scaries, but the Sunday scaries are scared of me today. So what have I been up to? So I woke up, I did my skincare, I started in on my laundry, I washed, dried, folded clothes, started washing in on my bedding, made my bed. I did some meal prep today. I ate my lunch, filmed some content. I am doing my podcasting now. Later tonight, I'm going to go hang out with some friends. So I am just feeling very productive today, and it feels very good. I'm not going to lie. And as some of you may know, if you listen to, I believe it was either my last episode I did or the one before that, but I talked about how I am moving out of my current house, and my boyfriend and I are going to be living together in June, and I'm so excited for that. But in the midst of all my moving and my packing and my productive ass Sunday that I've been having, it kind of got me thinking about like decluttering, because as I move, I don't know if anybody else can relate to this, but I'm the type of person when I'm moving homes or apartments or whatever, I like to purge through all of my shit. I look through my clothes, I look through my bags, my shoes, through my kitchen utensils, through literally anything, hair care, bathroom care, body care, whatever, it could be anything. And I get rid of anything that might be old, anything that I can donate, anything I just don't grab for anymore. And it just got me feeling so good because I love that. And it just makes my brain feel like there's more space for other things when my space is also very clean and decluttered. And yeah, so that's kind of just like what we're going to talk about today. And I thought we could talk about decluttering our lives in general. So we're going to get into that. And basically this opportunity of me moving has me feeling really good, and decluttering my home has mostly been the physical things, right, that I talked about, like tangible, like clothes, kitchen utensils I don't use anymore, anything like that. But we can declutter our lives in so many ways, way more than just the physical things in our life. We can declutter our mind, right? The mental load of things. We can declutter our emotions or I don't know if our emotions, but just we can kind of declutter physical things, mental and emotional ways of doing that. And decluttering my home has mostly been physical things, right? The tangible stuff that I was talking about, but we can declutter things in our lives both physically, mentally, and emotionally. And I was thinking of some of the benefits from that and how in general we can do it. So physical decluttering. So physical decluttering is basically the environment we live in, right? And I'm the type of person, a true believer that our physical environment has heavy impacts on our internal state. So for example, when I walk into my kitchen and there's maybe dishes in the sink and my food I have to cook and the fridge is a mess and the pantry is a mess, I internally feel so discombobulated. I feel so unorganized and it stresses me out, gives me anxiety. It's overwhelming. And it's just nice when you can purge through some of those things, when you can clean and organize. And talking about the emotional weight of physical clutter, things like that junk drawer, that drawer of chaos, or the clothes that we keep just in case. Okay, y'all, when are we going to really use that? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I haven't reached for this shirt in the past year, I don't foresee myself reaching for it again in this coming year. You know what I'm saying? Or like a kitchen utensil. I do not need like a shit ton of, I have so many forks, knives, and spoons that they're overflowing in my drawer organizer. I don't need that many. Very rarely am I going to have like 30 people over at my house who each need their own set of silverware. I don't need that. So I can declutter some of those things. And there's some like different tips and different things you can do out there that are good ways of decluttering. What's that one? It's like the 1 in, 1 out rule. And if you pick up a new, for example, moisturizer, wait till your first moisturizer runs out and then you can go buy a new moisturizer. Or that, what is it? Marie Kondo style. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I cannot remember the name of it, but I believe how it is, it's you pick it up and you hold it in your hand and you kind of assess the need or the purpose for the thing. And it's like, okay, I'm holding this decoration or knickknack that you bought, and you hold it in your hands and you try to assess of like, okay, is this something I really need? Is it something I've reached for? If not, then I'm going to throw it out. Like, for example, right now, right behind my camera, I am looking at like 10 different pairs of sunglasses, and I have maybe worn like 2 of them in the past year. One of them is a classic black pair that I wear quite often, and the other one is this like green shade that I wear only when I have something to match it. So I've maybe worn that pair 3 times this past year. In reality, I do not need 10 pairs of sunglasses. I only need a few pairs of sunglasses. So that's a really cool technique of like, okay, picking it up and reconnecting with, is this something that I go for? Is this something that I need? And if not, sell it, donate it, do it with it what you will. You can also mentally declutter things. So for example, I hear a lot of people doing this, and I used to do this all the time. You make a to-do list of the things you need to get done in a day or within a weekend or get done within the week, right? And you make this huge to-do list and you're like, okay, I need to deep clean the kitchen. I need to deep clean the bathroom. I need to do laundry. I need to finish this homework assignment, or I need to finish this work report. And I also need to record the podcast. And I also need to do this and this and this. Okay, that is way too many things to get done in a day, maybe in a weekend, maybe in a week. It really depends on the person and the time that you have available and your schedule. But a lot of the time, this overwhelming to-do list can lead to being consistently overwhelmed. It can lead to decision fatigue because it's really hard to say, okay, let me start deep cleaning this kitchen. And then once that's all done, then I'll move on to the bathroom, or then I'll move on to the laundry. It can create this decision fatigue because it's like, okay, where do I start? What do I do first? Or if you do not complete one of the tasks you had set out to complete, then a lot of times people get hard on themselves. They're like, oh, like, fuck, I didn't finish folding my laundry. Guess I'll just have to leave it in the basket and it's going to sit there for a week and I'm just going to pick clothes out of it. Then you get on yourself, right? And it can be very mentally draining and sometimes self-critical. So something that you could try doing, especially with that to-do list, is to break it down. Like, I'm telling you, break that fucker down into so many baby steps. And in therapy, I call this the joys of list making. So say, for example, I have that list of, okay, I need to deep clean the kitchen, I need to do the laundry, and I need to finish my homework assignment. On the list, that's just 3 things: the kitchen, the laundry, a homework assignment. But in reality, there's so much more to it than just those 3 things. So what you do is you break it down even further. So kitchen, there's more than just deep cleaning kitchen. It's, okay, I need to take all of the current food and condiments and drinks and everything that's in the fridge. I need to take all of that out. And then I need to take out all of the shelving in the drawers in the fridge. I need to spray it down and clean it, wipe it out, put it back, and then I have to reorganize the fridge, put the drinks in there, then the food. Maybe you need to fill the water filter. It's so many more steps than just that. And that's just the fridge so far, mind you. And that can take, depending on the person, 30 minutes more. And then you have, okay, now we have the microwave we need to clean. We need to take out the plate and we need to clean, scrub that down. Then we have to wipe the outside. Then we have to wipe the inside. Okay, now that's done. Okay, now we have the oven and the stove. We need to clean inside the oven. We need to clean on top of the stove. There's so much that can be done within one simple task, right? And I'm using air quotes for people who can't see me because it's not that simple. In our minds, we make it out to be simple, but it's not. Some of the things take a lot more time and effort than we allot ourselves. So next time you go to create a list of things you need to get done in a day or in a weekend or in a week, I would encourage you to break it down into the baby steps that you have to do and then assess, okay, do I have enough time to get done both the kitchen and the laundry and this homework assignment? Or do I just have time for one or maybe two things? Right? So then even the laundry, step one of laundry, we need to gather all the dirty clothes, all the dirty towels, all the dirty linens. Then we need to go load the washer. Then we need to pour out the soap, maybe bleach, maybe softener, whatever you need to use. Then we have to start it. And then we have to go do something while we wait for that hour to be up. And then we have to come back and we have to load the dryer. We need to put in the linen sheet. When it's done, we have to take it to be folded. And then we have to put away the clothes and the towels. And it's so much. It's so much. And as adults, we're consistently making decisions. Let's make it easier on ourselves. Let's just make it easier on ourselves if we can. So my encouragement to you is to break it down into the baby steps and maybe just leave a few things off for another day, right? So if on Friday you can get the kitchen done. And then Saturday you can get the laundry and you can get the homework done. And then it can lead to less mental clutter of feeling overwhelmed and feeling self-critical. But there's other ways to also mentally declutter too. So you can do it by brain dumping. There's this delectile behavioral therapy sheet that I sometimes give to clients, and I call it brain dump because basically what you do, and it's like journaling. You could also use this for journaling. What I have them do is I give them a slot for every day of the week, and they can just literally brain dump whatever they want to on there. If they need to brain dump something bad that happened, something good that happened, maybe they have a grocery list they need to brain dump on there, they can put whatever they want on that spot. And then right below it, they give kind of a rating of their day or their emotions. They'll rate like, yes, I was feeling angry today, or I was feeling happy, I was feeling joyful. And then below that, they'll say if they used a skill at all. So they might say, oh yes, I used opposite action, or I used radical acceptance, or I used box breathing, whatever the case is, they'll put that as well. So that's a good way of brain dumping, journaling to kind of declutter your mind. Another really great thing for decluttering a person's mind is talking it out with somebody. So like I say in pretty much every podcast episode, a therapist is a great way to do this. It's really nice to have a professional who doesn't know you personally, who can be that source of reassurance, validation, give you advice, help you to better cope with challenges that you're experiencing, give you different skills you can use, like the ones I'm providing right now. That's a really great resource. But if you don't have the means or desire to see a therapist, talking it out with a trusted friend, trusted family member is always a great way to declutter some of those ruminating thoughts as well. So yeah, that's just some things that I like to do and that I've recommended to other people because, different things are taking up real estate in our mind and they don't need to be. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And then the last one is emotional decluttering. So this one can be a bit challenging for some people because it's going to take some setting some boundaries with yourself and with other people. So this could look like letting go of unhelpful relationships, whether it's a friendship, a romantic relationship, family, work relationship, whatever that case may be. It could also look like letting go of bad habits or just habits that aren't helping you to be productive. You can let go of certain narratives. And I talked about this a lot in my radical acceptance episode when I talked about letting that shit go. And sometimes people can get in this very negative mindset where they continuously are the victim or they are continuously just negative in general. And I'm not saying like some of that is justified if you went through something traumatic, for example. Yes, that is going to be on your mind. You're going to be triggered by that. And I also can recognize that there's no changing things that have happened to you. So learning to change the narrative of victim to survivor, for an example, can be very powerful in kind of emotionally decluttering, right? Because you're no longer having to suffer ruminating on that. Some other ways of emotionally decluttering is letting go of grudges or things that just no longer serve us. So yeah, those are some different things you can try. And I talked about boundaries because some of this is going to be setting boundaries with other people. So for an example, I talked about relationships. Let's take a work relationship for an example. Say that your boss is asking you to take on this new work project with a new client, and it's going to add about 10 more hours per week to your schedule for the next 3 months. And you have a family at home, you have a spouse, you have kids, maybe you have a dog and 2 cats. And you are already feeling overwhelmed with caring for yourself, caring for your family, doing things at work. And all of a sudden you're starting to feel this emotional pressure. Maybe you're starting to feel really guilty, maybe because you can't be with your family if you take on this work. Or you're feeling guilty because you don't want to let down your boss, but you also want to be able to take care of yourself and your family. And a lot of these things can lead to those feelings of guilt, identity loss. And your boss is like, hey, can you please do this work for, like, it'll add maybe 10 hours to your every week for you. That is an opportunity for you to set a boundary of, hey, appreciate that you want to come to me because you trust me. And I currently can't take on that workload because I have all of this other stuff going on right now. So, like, kind of good luck with that, right? That is a prime example of how to set a boundary with other people that can kind of declutter some of that emotional stress you may feel if you had taken that on. And you can also set it with yourself, right? I talked about habits. If there's a habit you've been doing that hasn't been serving you very well and you need to, okay, girl, like, instead of sleeping in till 10 a.m. every day and lying around the house not doing much, we're going to make it a goal to wake up a little early. We're going to have a good breakfast. We're going to go on a walk, get some movement. We're going to add some habits to our life that are going to make us feel better emotionally, physically, mentally, so that we can declutter some of the stuff that's been making us feel like we're in a rut or that we're in a funk. So that is an example of how to kind of emotionally declutter. So what are some of the benefits of doing all of this? Like, why would we even do it? So one, it reduces decision fatigue and cognitive overload. We talked about this a little bit, but every object in your space or every task on your to-do list or any unresolved emotional thoughts or just like grudge or whatever the case may be, it takes up a mental bandwidth within yourself. And when you can clear and like take out that clutter, you reduce the number of micro decisions or decisions in general that your brain has to make consistently. So have you ever found yourself, for an example, asking yourself, oh, where did I put that at? Or should I text them back? You will find yourself experiencing those types of thoughts less and less because your space is cleared. So you'll be like, oh, that's right. That's where I put my keys. I always put them on that hook. Or, oh yeah, like I don't deserve that, so I'm just not going to text them back. It makes room for more peace and more focus in your life. So that's one benefit. Another benefit is that it creates a sense of control and empowerment within a person. I say this at the end of all my episodes of like embrace the chaos, find the beauty type of thing, right? Life can be so chaotic at times, and we don't always have control over that. So when life can feel chaotic, it is especially important that you try and declutter what you can, whether it's decluttering your closet so that you don't have as many like choices to make, or it's decluttering your calendar so that you have more time to do the things that you want to do. It's something that is totally up to you, and it creates this, you have control. Like you have all the control over your own life, and it can be empowering once you're able to take control over those things. So that's the second benefit. A third benefit is it makes space for what actually matters. If any of you are listening to this and you're having the thought of, yeah, I don't really love my job, or yeah, this one friend has been kind of an emotional drain on me, or yeah, I look in my closet and I just don't see anything that I feel comfortable or confident in. Well, then maybe something you can ask yourself is, well, do those things really matter to you? Or maybe not if they don't matter to you, but is it what's most helpful to you? When you can declutter your physical space, your mental space, your emotional space, you make room for the good stuff. You make room for the people who are meant to be in your life, who are good for you, to come into your life. If you drop that toxic friend, you may be making room for a really inspiring, really helpful, really kind friend to come into your life. If you declutter your closet, you may be making room, physical room, for things that you actually do feel comfortable and confident in to then go into that closet. So it serves you in so many ways. It can make space for joy, clarity, creativity, better relationships, and rest, whatever it is that you're craving. Another benefit is it's a form of self-respect and self-care. And it can be very difficult. All these things, you didn't accumulate any of these things. You didn't develop this mental or emotional weight overnight. So it's also not going to resolve itself overnight. And taking these things step by step, little by little, is a way of letting go of the things that are no longer serving you. And in transition, what you get in turn is you get some self-respect and self-care out of that. Self-care is not always a glamorous, let's go to a spa, let's take ourselves out to eat type of thing. It can be decluttering your space, decluttering your mind by journaling, or decluttering emotionally by setting boundaries. That can be a form of self-care. And it absolutely is. And it's difficult to do. And just because it's difficult doesn't mean that it can't be done. And it's showing love towards yourself when you show up for yourself like that. Okay, the last benefit that I was thinking of was that doing all of this, it signals to your subconscious that change is possible. So decluttering is often the first spark of a bigger shift for people. You toss the clothes that you don't feel like fit you anymore, and then suddenly you're more open to change in other areas of your life too. It can be a momentous transformation of energy. So if you, for example, take me, like I'm moving, so I'm going to try and declutter some of my old decor, some of my old sunglasses, clothes, different things. And even though it's something as simple as throwing out 8 out of 10 pairs of my sunglasses, I'm making room for a different type of life for myself. Maybe rather than focusing on spending my money or my energy towards buying materialistic things to fill my home with, I'll take that energy and that time and that money and I'll put it into experiences, for example. So sometimes when you do these in your subconscious, you are making room for a bigger change to come in your life. And that can be very exciting for a person. And yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed this episode. It was a little bit of a shorter one. Let me know if you have any questions or follow up with this. I think there's so many different avenues that I could have taken with this that I don't know if we have the time for. Otherwise, it would be way longer of an episode. But basically, some things to keep in mind before I let you go today is to think of where your time and energy go and what you want your life to be like. What do you want your future life or your future self to look like, to feel like, to experience? And then every decision you make after that, you can ask, is this something that future person would want or that they would do? Another thing to keep in mind, say no more often, set boundaries, prioritize what really matters to you, and also talk about obligations, overcommitting, hustle culture. We talked about that in some of the previous episodes. Some things to keep in mind, right? You are not worthy depending on your production. You are worthy all on your own, and You don't have to have a certain thing or do a certain thing to be considered worthy. You just are worthy. And once you're able to recognize that and declutter the other things in your life, it becomes so much easier to just accept yourself for the amazing person that you are. So yeah. Well, I hope you liked what you heard today. If you did, please leave a review, a comment, 5 stars down below. Shout out to my editor, Ben, for editing my videos. I really appreciate you. If you want to follow me on my social media or want to get a hold of me, my Instagram is life.in.motion24. My email is life.motion24@gmail.com. And my TikTok is life_in_motion24. But that's it for today. You can watch my episodes on YouTube, listen on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And yeah, that's really it. Until next week, embrace the chaos and find the beauty. Bye.